Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome back to On Your Mental. This is the podcast where we share candid, open, and sometimes vulnerable conversations between and about men. And I say about men because today is the first episode with a woman as my guest. The person I have with me is my friend Jenelle. Jenelle was one of the first people I talked to about On Your Mental, and so she's kind of pivotal to why this thing exists. So yeah, we had a really good conversation about men in her life, how we both kind of view like toxic masculinity, and then we had like a really long, like good conversation about commitment and how men view commitment, a little bit about how women view commitment as well. But yeah, just a great talk overall, and I hope you all enjoy it. I will see you at the end of the video. If you're not already, make sure that you are subscribed to let you know when new episodes come out, but we have a new one every week at this point. So anyways, you can stay regular with that. But I'll see y'all. Bye-bye. Praise God. Praise God. Can I get an amen?
Hallelujah.
Are you religious?
I am.
Like extremely?
To a point.
Yeah?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I grew up in a Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in God. I don't know. My
Really?
family is Christian.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like 100%. Like my
No.
mom like went to church and stuff.
Like Christian or Catholic?
Christian.
No.
Yeah.
How did I not know this about you?
Because I'm like, I don't practice it at all. I don't reflect that at all. Like my cousins and stuff, like they're like definitely
Christian?
religious. Yeah, definitely Christian.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I really don't know why. I feel like I'm sure there's at some level like something about just me being on my own because only
Right.
child and single mom. Like I don't think my mom wanted to impose like a ton of stuff on me, and she also isn't like hyper like Christian herself.
Right.
You know, she is Christian for sure. She has told me like many times that she is Christian. My grandma was Christian and stuff. So yeah, like I remember going to church with my grandma sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, like a few times.
That's like, oh, how did I not know this about you?
I
Well, I
don't
guess
know.
we don't really talk about it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't come up.
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, no, my family's religious. I have like memories of going to church and stuff, but I've just never like actually practiced any of myself. I've never read the Bible. Done
Never.
any of that. Nah.
Do you know any of the Bible stories?
Nope.
Not one?
Nope. And
Adam
my
and
name's
Eve.
Reuben. Like I'm in there. I
don't
know my name's in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Mine is too.
Really?
My middle name. It's Garden of... You've never read the
Eden.
Bible.
Eden.
Yeah, my middle
Jenelle,
name's
Eden
Eden.
Pimentel. There we go. I got it.
Mhm.
My middle name is Gardner.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You said garden.
Oh.
Connect the two somehow.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like the religion has just never presented itself in my life in a way that I felt the need to be connected to it.
That's fair.
However,
However.
there was actually a time where recently I kind of started to think like, shit, maybe I'm gonna start going down that
Dabble?
path.
Yeah.
And it was after my breakup. I was feeling a little bit kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It was near the holiday season. And I remember that Christmas, my mom and we went to midnight mass for the first time.
Oh, wow.
I'd never been.
Yeah.
And is midnight mass a
It's Catholic.
Catholic? But we're Christian. I know she's Christian. She's told me Christian, but we went to, maybe it was just a midnight service, maybe not midnight mass.
Yeah, potentially. I know. I've definitely been to
No,
midnight
it wasn't
services.
midnight. It wasn't midnight. It was just like a really late night service on Christmas Eve.
Was it a mass? Like, were you at...
We were at a church.
Okay. When do you guys have like the little things where like they all pray together and they're on their knees?
Nope.
Okay, so it's definitely like a Christian service.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like, you like sit in the pews and whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So we went and did that, and I don't know what it was about that night, but something started to feel kind of like maybe I got to get in touch with God.
Yeah.
I didn't pursue it. I didn't have
Which
that
is fair.
feeling afterwards.
Yeah.
It was funny too. I was listening to a lot of what is Kanye's album's name?
Oh.
Jesus is King?
Yes.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of that, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, this guy's singing all this gospel stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like maybe like I fuck with it a little bit.
Yeah. No.
This guy swears. Says
No, gospel music is actually quite good.
it's
Like,
really good.
Yeah.
It's really good, and there's a lot of songs on there too. Like when you did you watch any of his Sunday service stuff?
I did.
Like it was amazing.
Incredible.
As far as just like
Incredible.
performance goes and stuff, I can understand how that could draw you into a place of religion too.
Oh my God. You don't have to be a Christian to appreciate that. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, it's beautiful in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, no.
That's the other thing
yeah.
too about religion, and we can talk about religion for a while right now. Like I don't care talk about religion. As someone who doesn't consider themselves religious, I don't know that I would put myself on the plane of like atheism.
Okay.
I feel like that's extreme. I feel like there's something out
Yeah.
there that is like, there's an energy out there, you
There
know,
has
like
to be
things
higher
are connected.
power. Yeah. 100%.
And I have no way of explaining it. It's just a gut feeling. And I totally understand when people do like follow religion. And sometimes it's like this belief system is such a powerful thing in itself.
Yeah.
Right. When you have something where you have this level of connection between people too, there is often connection within religion.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never been drawn to that, but yeah, like I get religion. It just doesn't like fit in my life in that way, but I'm not completely like, nah, like religion's stupid. I would never say that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a weird like little balance.
I don't know. I found it as a sense. I just like when I was very religious, I was a worship leader. I was a youth leader.
Yeah.
I just found a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
you know? And
Bieber.
I know. No, truly. Like I truly did. Yeah. Bieber. But I definitely like I felt a sense of purpose, which I absolutely loved. And obviously I've lost my way. You know how I am now, but I mean, I'm not all that bad, but I mean, I could be better and I've been a lot better. And I dare I say the moment that I strayed away from God, that's when I started to get depressed and anxious. It's crazy to think of, but I think that there's some truth to that.
Yeah. Like some reasoning.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I'm not super, super religious now, but I do believe that, you know, there is a reason for why we're here, why the pandemic exists in our day and age. And there's a reason for all of it. And soon it'll all come to light. And I don't know. I think that it's important, I think, as people to have faith in something more than yourself and in this world. I think there's something greater than that. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It can give your life a sense of purpose too, or a sense of greater meaning.
100%.
You know?
100%.
Because I feel like you can stray to like the complete opposite end of the spectrum where you don't believe in any of that, where it's just like, we're matter, we're organic, and we live and we die. And when you're dead, you meant nothing.
Which is sad.
It's sad.
Extremely
it's such like
sad.
I don't know if that relates to dissociation at all. Like dissociation is like a feeling where you start to just think like nothing matters. Like, what am I doing here? Like, what's the point?
Right.
And it can make your day-to-day life quite difficult too, where it's like hard to get up and like get moving, you know what I mean? Because it's just like whatever you're doing is pointless at the end of the day. But at this, like, I can see that side of things too.
Fully.
You know, like if there is no higher power, if there is no energy out there or something that's connecting all of us or anything like that, like your life could mean nothing. Which is such an extreme way, and that's why I hate it. I don't subscribe to that in any way. No. The other thing, too, is I don't know if you've ever heard of these stories where there was someone who was like born somewhere, I want to say, in Europe, and they were born, and then they grew up, and like as they like got to an age where they can speak and communicate and all this stuff, they remembered a family, like a full-on family, like a wife, kids, like all this stuff from a previous life. Okay. And they remembered it in detail, like names, location, all that. And they actually existed. They were real. But there was no way that this kid could have known them. I don't remember where I saw this story. And this was a long time ago. Like I would say 10 years or plus where I read this story. Yeah. But that was the first time where I started to think like, oh, like maybe there is like an afterlife in a way. If I were to believe in one thing, I would like to believe in reincarnation. Like reincarnation would be cool as far as what afterlife looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about like afterlife stuff?
I don't actually believe in that stuff. I think that when we die, we go to heaven.
Yeah, sure. I guess,
you know
as
what
a Christian, that would be,
I mean, yes, totally. I believe like, what is it? Cats have how many? 9 lives?
9 lives, yeah.
Do they really? I don't know. Probably. No, I feel like my cats lived a couple of those. Yeah. But am I wrong? Like cats who are obviously miserable, they're probably on their like 8th or 9th life. You know what I mean?
I feel you, yeah.
But no, I don't. I don't know. I think that we're here for purpose, and when we're done with that purpose, we're done. And we die.
Interesting.
And we die for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
Do you feel like legacy fits into that at all? Like leaving behind a legacy? Do you think that fits into purpose and that plays a larger role in like what your purpose was on earth? Like think of like people just creatively. Okay. I don't know. Think about like someone like Tupac, like Bob Marley, like shit like that. Like people who had a massive impact on their world and on the world at large. Right. Like maybe their purpose was there to do that thing. Do you believe in that kind of thing?
Fully.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that's a fun way to think about stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's here for a reason. Everybody plays their part.
Hey.
Yeah,
Here,
no
here.
matter how big or how small. Anyways, we are here on Your Mental. Thank you, Jenelle, for coming. And I wanted to first just start by saying that Jenelle was one of the first people I ran this idea by. You were one of the first people who told me, yeah, do it. And so thank you for that, because if I didn't have friends like yourself who were encouraging and like in my corner with me telling me like, yeah, you should go for this thing, I wouldn't do stuff. You know what I mean? I think everybody needs that in their life. So you're one of those people. So thank you, Jenelle. What we're going to talk about today is kind of how men fit in your life as it is now in 2021, whether that be our friend group, because we share the same friend circle. I've talked about it many times already. There's a ton of us.
Fortunately.
And I want to talk about that. And then we can talk about one of the first questions that you asked me when we bounced around on Your Mental, which was around the idea of men and commitment and how we sort of view commitment. I can only give my own perspective, but we can just share our thoughts between each other. But I also want to ask you stuff about like toxic masculinity and how that's presented in 2021 as well, because there's been so much change around sexuality, what it means to be a man, all that kind of stuff, especially over the last few years. At least I'm sure both of us have noticed that. But let's start with how men fit into your life today. Who are the men in your life?
Oh my goodness, I've got about how many are there of you?
Too damn many. If you want to count
many.
the full group, it's about 20.
Including us girls?
No, that's the guys.
What?
Yeah. Like if I look at the group chat, there is like, I want to say 20 or 22 of us in that group chat for the boys.
But are they actively out and about?
They aren't the actively, that's what I'm saying. So like the actively out and about with you, that's, I don't know, like 10, 12?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
How big are our trips? Yeah.
Think about like we
trips?
always go on really good trips.
Amazing trips.
The best. Obviously COVID has played a bit of a, like, y'all not going to have that anymore. But we've managed to have some people get vaxxed.
Yeah.
Get vaxxed. If you're on this channel, this is pro-vax. But yeah, no, like we have managed to have amazing trips, and especially in the past, like we get to go together. We all go and we rent some Airbnb somewhere. It used to be my family's cabin, and then that became kind of limited just in the amount of people they could support because they became a real VRBO, blah, 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 instead of just renting out to us. But yeah, we get like 16 of us plus on these trips, and it's awesome. Amazing. It's just a good time once a year at least. Yep. Then we just get out.
It doesn't even have to be super elaborate either. We make
just rent
something out of nothing.
Yeah.
We could be in the back of our fucking high school. I hate that shit so much. But we could be doing absolutely nothing, and we'd have a blast.
But I mean, like the number of times we've said it, like we could literally sit in a room, a blank room. Yeah. There could be nothing in there, and we'll probably have a good time.
Probably.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. Bring the wine.
Yeah. A couple bottles.
But anyways, how do men fit in your life today? Who are the men in your life today? Let's start with the friends then.
Yeah, friends. Of course. I would say that 70% of my friends are guys, which is kind of scary to say. You know those memes where it's a girl and with a bunch of like sausages in her mouth? I feel like I'm that bitch. I am that bitch. Got like a close like girlfriend group of like 3 or 4 of us.
I just love guys because they're easier to talk to.
But they genuinely are. They genuinely are. And I feel like a lot of the people that I talk to and I see get threatened by that. So besides my friends, I have my dad. I don't have any siblings. We're only children.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I've always just been a daddy's girl. And then that's about it. I don't really work with a lot of men. Yeah. I work in a female dominated company. Yeah. Industry, dare I say?
The number I've heard, and like we don't have to talk specifics, but the number I've heard for your company is like an 85-15 split of like female to male.
Insane. And it's dangerous. Yeah. Because a lot of female energy is not good. And I think that's why I gravitate to guys. I think
to be fair, it's both ways though.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to like stray towards like the edge of like a patriarchy or anything. Like, you know, like if you have too many guys in a room, you're not getting the best ideas out either.
Oh, I know. Wolf of Wall Street?
There has to be a balance. You know what I mean?
The reason why I feel like I gravitate towards male company, I think is because I work 40, 50, 60 hours in a workplace that is so female dominated. I work with maybe 1 or 2 cross-functional people that are
interesting.
Men. Yeah.
So it's like the work-life balance also includes like a gender balance.
Exactly.
For you. That's kind of interesting.
I think that you kind of need a balance of both energies. I think that's healthy. I think it's unhealthy to be like fully just like surrounded by women. I think vice versa. I think it's pretty sad that if a man surrounds himself only by men.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Right?
Yeah, I think if you just associate with yourself, it's hard to get different perspectives,
Exactly,
right? When you stray away from the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like then you start to build yourself out quite a bit more as a person.
Exactly.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I never really thought about that. Yeah, I mean, just hearing about where men are in your life, then you have your father, you have no siblings, so no other immediate family that is male, not like on a day-to-day basis. You have your group of us.
Yeah.
Bunch of idiots.
Yep.
And then at work, it's mainly women. So the biggest point in your life there would be us, right? Thinking about all of us, like we're all different guys. We're all friends. So obviously there's something that keeps us together and that we are drawn to as a group. Thinking about us, thinking about the blanket term of toxic masculinity.
Okay.
Maybe we'll start with saying how like toxic masculinity to me is leaning too far into like old stereotypes of like what a man is, what it means to be masculine, and being kind of closed off, being abrasive, sometimes being like rude towards women. Like that can be a toxic masculinity, being emotionally closed off. What do you think about toxic masculinity? And do you think any of our friends sort of stray on that spectrum or not to out anybody, and so I don't need specifics, but just to talk about your experience with men as a whole?
Thankfully, I've picked a good friend group where I don't think that anyone kind of ever raises those types of red flags. I think for the most part, you guys are healthy for me, and we all have healthy friendships, I think.
Yeah.
But in terms of toxic masculinity, I feel like I'd say that some of my friends, my close friends, are dating people that kind of exhibit that kind of personality, which is pretty sad, and they're closed off. You know, they're not vulnerable. They are possessive, which I think is...
I hate possessiveness.
I know. I hate that so much. Between men and women, I think it's just one of the most unhealthiest traits to have. So I do see those traits in, you know, my close friends' significant others, and I can see that it drains my friends. I feel like it kind of takes away from their identity almost.
So seeing that it might drain your friends, do you mean that in the sense that it doesn't let them be who they are? Because I think like hearing what you're saying about toxic masculinity and it being draining, toxic masculinity is a very broad general term. To be honest, I hate like toxic. I think toxic is overused, but because it is used in our generation today, like we're going to use it in this conversation here. All of those traits you talked about, like being possessive especially, I think that can pull on someone so much, and that's like the mentally draining part maybe that you think about. I've felt that, you know, from like not a masculinity standpoint, but from like a partner, right? Like it doesn't help you when you're in a relationship or when you have relationships, whether that's friendships or like colleagues, whatever. If those people demand so much of you because of like a level of possessiveness or a level of need for control, that sucks when you don't get to be yourself, you know. But I can see how men do that quite a bit, right? Men always try to be the ones like in charge of a situation, in charge in the room, right? But when that is someone who's in your life all the time, that's then presenting itself in every scenario and every moment of your life. That is very draining. I can imagine that's very draining.
Extremely.
Yeah. I don't, I'm not a fan of toxic masculinity traits, but I feel like any trait is something that you can learn out of.
Learn out of?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
To be conditioned out of toxicity?
Yeah.
Really?
But I think it takes some level of like self-realization that you are at that point where you're hurting other people's lives with the way that you're behaving. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I agree with you. No, I think that toxic people don't know they're toxic.
That's the thing. Nobody knows that they're toxic if they are toxic, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like there have been moments in my life where like maybe I haven't communicated well or something like that in whatever situation. Maybe I haven't communicated well, and because of a lack of communication, like I've caused someone to like overcompensate in that moment and not be able to just be themselves and maybe question themselves and in what they're expecting from me or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thinking about our friend group, I'm glad that you say that you don't think any of us really exhibit that, because I don't think that we do. And that's like kind of my point of bringing a lot of my friends on here, is I think that overall we represent men in a decent way.
Extremely.
You know?
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, this is getting more biased opinions to telling us that they're good. So I like that. But I think when we had this conversation about the podcast initially, and you still had questions about like why men are the way that they are, right? So that to me says that even though your friend group is a decent group of guys, there are still questions out there about why men behave the way that they do in like a stereotypical way.
Of course.
So maybe we'll get to some of that.
Sure.
Okay. So let's start with that first question, or one of the first questions that you asked me, which is like why men might not choose to commit in a relationship. It was just one of the topics that came up, and we can talk about that. Why was that a question of like interest to you?
I mean, at that point in my life when we were talking about the podcast, I think I was struggling, to meet people that kind of had the same wants and needs.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that was also just commitment, and I just want to know why these fuckers didn't want to commit. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm half bad. I don't know.
You're amazing. You're incredible.
I think I have a good personality. I'm not really that funny, but
on a good day.
Oh yes, on a good day. I try very hard, but it was tough because I just didn't know like what was it about. I mean, was it me or was it them? Like what caused them not to pursue the relationship further than what it had already been? You know what I mean? And it's weird because I haven't actively seen a lot of people since, and I think now I'm the one that's starting to have the commitment issues. But I think that in that time I was like, is it me? Like what is it about? Is a relationship just scary, or is it a point in their life? I mean, we're in our mid-20s. Is that a reason why?
I'm sure that there are things like that play into it. I mean, of course, I'll talk from my own experience,
right? But
we'll think about it together.
Yeah.
When you say like it made you wonder, is it me? That is not a fun feeling to have, you know? Yeah. And I think it's a very easy path to go down, or a common path to go down rather, when you're faced with dating in the modern age. You know, dating today isn't the most fun. No. You know, because I think so many people stray away from commitment or avoid commitment. I think it's a really good question that you asked when you first brought that up. And speaking from my own experience, and I've talked about it a bit, for me, I don't want to approach relationships at all, because right now it doesn't fit into my life, because I just don't think I have the time to devote to it. So even if I was presented with somebody who like I really gravitate towards, it would be very difficult for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to commit to you being the one person that I'm talking to. Because for me, it's like having the flexibility to talk to whoever, if that opportunity arises, if I start connecting with other women or whatever it might be. I like having that freedom, because there's like having the freedom of just choice in a way, or freedom of, I don't know, just individuality, and being able to be around as many people as I wanted to be around. That fits into time, because it doesn't take up time. Freedom doesn't take up time. You know?
Deep shit.
Maybe. I don't know. But I definitely acknowledge that even myself saying that contributes to that feeling that you had, right? If I were talking to a woman like yourself and I didn't want to commit, but like we were really vibing with each other or something like that, right? But I don't want to commit just because like, oh, a relationship doesn't fit into my life, but we get along so well, I can totally understand he'll be like, what did I do? Right. You know, the most recent person that I had spoken to, okay, I feel like I talked to you a little bit about them. I'm not going to say their name, but the most recent person who I had spoken to kind of had that feeling of like what happened when you decided that we weren't going to talk anymore. And we had a conversation about that. It was a good conversation. It ended up like going out fine, but it was like, I felt some sense of like guiltiness in not wanting to just be like, yeah, sure, let's see where this goes. It feels almost like rude in a way to not want to pursue something, but I'm looking out for myself. I know it's going to be the right experience for me, but then you're sacrificing somebody else's experience, or you're impacting somebody else's experience with relationships. I don't know. Like commitment's hard. Scary. Commitment's scary.
Extremely. And I get it.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm kind of at in the point of my life at this point in my life. Like you also know, like, once you commit to something, you gotta commit or you're a coward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when you go like back and forth, I feel bad I'm saying this. Like I'm guilty of this like somewhat presently.
Fair.
But when you go like back and forth in a relationship, or when you decide that you want to commit, nobody wants that experience. You want to know that when someone's committed, that they're committed. Right? So I wonder what it is about commitment that's so scary to, like, even to me. And I don't know why I'm using the word scary. It's like, why is it scary? But it is to me.
Yeah.
Committing is scary in a way.
Extremely.
And so maybe that's something that men are projecting out there, at least the ones that you were speaking to, going, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, I don't know. That's my own thoughts on commitment. Is it's a scary idea because commitment is it's commitment.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it, but it's such a, I don't know, it's so much responsibility and commitment.
It is. But I mean, I always think, like, yes, like, probably like the guy isn't in the space that he needs to be in to want to commit. But I think that the other person has something to do with it, at least. Like, if she was if she was your soulmate, right? It's the same type of humor. Yeah. Y'all love the same movies, listen to the same type of music. Yeah. You guys vibe. You wouldn't commit then?
No, that's the thing. Like,
really?
Well, I don't know, man. I'm speaking in hypotheticals.
Okay.
Right? Because I
mean, hey, granted, I definitely haven't met the one, so I don't know. And maybe if you meet the one, then you'll commit then and there.
It's funny too. I think that experiences can shape a person's willingness to accept the idea of commitment. What I mean by that is, you know how head over heels I was for my last relationship. Yeah. Very early on, I was like, for sure, like, this is the one. I'm talking about all this shit about, like, oh, like, I want to marry her. I had dreams about it. I had dreams about the scenarios. I remember when I told you the story and we were in Earl's and I had told you, like, I had this dream. There was this fire burning, and then I turned over and I see Seb there, and Seb's going, oh, she's the one.
What was song playing?
There wasn't a song playing.
There wasn't?
There wasn't a song playing, but it was at just this place that we went on Cyprus that was like this like place that we had gone to commonly, and it was like, I remember telling you the story, and then I had said, like, oh, Seb was over to the side, everything's burning, everything looks like chaos, and then Seb's over to the side, and all he said in that dream was, she's the one, right? And I was like, yeah. And to me, like that dream like solidified it for me. I'm like, that's good to go. But then shit comes up and it's like something just doesn't work between the two of us, and that experience, I think, has left me feeling a little bit jaded. That whole experience of losing that relationship has left me also a little bit jaded. And even though, like, people need to connect with other people, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, one of the things in life that you hope to do is produce more life. You know what I mean? You're going to find a partner at some point when that fits. But there's a lot of hesitation in me putting myself out there again now at this point too. But like right now I'm not on dating apps, but before I was on dating apps, because there's a part of you that wants to go out and like do dating shit. You know what I mean? To be candid, like you might want to hook up with people, you know what I mean? Like that's part of it too. But you also just might want to explore connection with people. Right. And so I think that jadedness though also plays into me not wanting to ever commit right now.
Oh God. Well, I heard never, and I'm like,
okay. I heard that too. I know. That's extreme.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Like for the men that you had spoken to, do you think maybe any of them fit into something like that? Did that seem like that could be part of their lives?
I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always also been more attracted to like alpha type of guys.
I know the men you like.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what I mean? And maybe
you should see our TikTok DMs back.
Oh my God, thank you for reminding me.
I sent you so much stuff.
I know I haven't been on TikTok.
Yeah.
I opened my TikTok today. Black guys.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Like,
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you for blessing my feed.
We have the same taste in men.
We do.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh God,
we'll get to sexual fluidity another time. But yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
No, it was just asking if you thought maybe some of those men that you had spoken to, like, do you think any of them presented like a jadedness or a lack of wanting to commit because of past? Did that ever come up in you talking with them?
No.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean,
How did it end up like fizzling out for you? Like in these instances where you were talking to guys, like what,
I mean,
when did it stop?
At that point, I mean, when they, I guess, like they didn't all say the same thing, but when I felt like it wasn't going to go anywhere, I just kind of ended it. And I think that's just me just wanting to end things before I get, cut off.
Before your attachment builds and then they're the ones to be like, nah, I'm out.
Exactly. And so that's just to protect me. And, me, I've got my walls up, like built like so high. And so I just don't want to go through that shit again. Right. And so I think that, I don't know. I feel like maybe they didn't seem like they were jaded, and and again, we didn't really go into history and like what their past relationships were like, and that's just not a conversation that I didn't really want to have. I mean, on either end. And so I don't know, I mean, especially at our age, I think we're in our mid-20s, and the expectation is that we're married and kids by 30 or your mid-30s, and I feel like there's a little bit of a, like a stopwatch, or not a stopwatch. I feel like there's a little bit of a, what's it called?
Yeah, like a stopwatch. Yeah, it's like time's ticking.
Exactly.
Like eventually you got to get around to that.
Yeah, I mean,
time
is ticking.
Like a literal tick.
No, but literally, I mean, you know what I mean? And it's tough, and I don't know, like, is it the men that I'm seeing, or is it just the time and place that we're in? And
I feel like our generation faces a unique dating scenario or a unique dating environment.
I feel like even our city.
Vancouver's not like the greatest.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Why do you feel like Vancouver's the worst?
That's actually a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
I feel like Vancouver's not the best because everybody can be kind of like focused on themselves a fair bit. To use as like maybe a comparison, like if you go to SFU, right, this is the university I went to, every single person there focuses on themselves. None of them talks to another person. Right. Part of it is because it's a garbage campus and you want to leave there the moment you're there. Personal opinion.
Looks like a prison.
Looks like a prison.
Straight up.
Yeah. The other like side of it too, though, is I think that people just don't like socialize that much in Vancouver. Like you can walk around downtown, you might like be standing at a crosswalk next to somebody, you might be waiting at a bus stop with somebody. How many times do you hear people strike up a conversation? People don't do that anymore. Never. Yeah, people don't do that here like at all. That's my opinion on it. No,
people are very exclusive, and I think that our friendship is
a demo of that.
Very guilty of that. Very guilty of that. We are like straight up definition of no new friends. Right? I mean, even like, a lot of significant others that you guys try to bring in were very, I don't know,
closed off.
Exactly, extremely.
Yeah.
And I think that also stems from us just being friends for so long, and there's this trust between us all, and and allowing someone new to kind of come in and shake that up.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the people that we know who have ended up in relationships or like relationships that come and go, whatever, a lot of them have met those people on dating apps too. Like they're not organic meets. You know what I mean? You're not finding somebody at a bar or at some music event or something like that and striking up a conversation and dating them. Right. I think like Ivan's a really cool exception to that. Like meeting the person he's dating right now through his work. Like that's really cool. Cheers, Ivan.
Yeah.
But I think so many people, especially around our age now, like the way that you introduce relationships to your life is through an app. Most of the time, my last relationship was through an app. I don't bash it, right? Like I had a great experience with it initially.
Yeah.
But like it's, I don't know. I feel like that is a really, really heavy influence in Vancouver in particular because of how people are here in general.
No, yeah, I think so.
Did I show you this like video of this person's like take on dating today at our age?
No. Reuben, you know that shit. You got to send to me.
And I'll play it on this too. I'll get it. I'll like play it at the same time, but I'll let you listen to it.
Ooh. First of all, there's no such thing as relationships anymore, apparently. It's all just hooking up, friends with benefits, and never-ending talking stages. It's not at all what it used to be. Like, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. No. It is first comes sex, then comes ghosting, then comes emotional trauma and trust issues. And then everybody does the opposite of what you're supposed to. So if they like someone, they don't tell them. If they want to be with them, they act like they don't. Everybody wants what they can't have, but then when they have it, they don't appreciate it, so they lose it. So then they'll fight to get it back, and then when they get it back, they don't really want it because they didn't really want it anyway. They just wanted to get it back but not really have it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I related to that a lot. Like,
Ain't that the truth? Holy shit.
yeah. It
What do
yeah,
you
what do you
it
think
is?
about that?
Oh.
Like,
Whoa.
I'll let you go first.
No, I was just like,
I don't know what it is about our generation, and I really feel like it's a generational thing. I don't think it's exclusive to men or women. I think it goes both ways. I think that we all have this tendency now
yeah.
where it's a fear of commitment because you don't want to just settle with this one person.
Right.
I think part of it, to be honest, think about how a dating app works.
Okay.
You get matches, matches, multiple, plural. Every single time you're on that app, you have multiple connections to people. You know how satisfying that is to have multiple conversations going?
Do you remember my little drop down on Tinder?
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, didn't you have like the 99 plus shit on like
Yeah, and I think it was like you had like was it like 1,200
all these matches waiting?
I know,
It's
and I'm like, sorry.
What? And I can't even imagine for women, like y'all, that must be so overwhelming because there is way more. I know there is way more because like all the guys like we've bitched about before, like you can go a couple days like you won't get a match or something, right? Oh. But like
I'd swipe on. I have swiped
so
right
sweet.
on you.
You're so sweet.
I have an obligation. Don't worry about it.
But what I think that does to you though is there's such a positive feedback loop that you get from these apps.
Yeah.
You can get a match, you can do whatever, like with that, you like get this whole list of people that you're talking to.
Yeah.
And so then the idea of giving up talking to all these people so you can talk to one, I think that's something that people might dismiss.
Fully.
I think that's something men will definitely dismiss.
I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. I will periodically download Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, just purely for the ego boost.
Yep. Yeah.
Purely.
Yeah.
If I'm really feeling down and out, you best believe I am downloading Tinder.
Just start
Posting that red One Piece picture.
100%.
I got my was it my Bumble profile taken down because I know because the picture didn't like
didn't meet the community standard.
It truly did not. And I was like, what?
This violated community
Are
guidelines.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I mean, yes, our generation. I know you probably won't talk about this. I think it's hugely because of social media.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of getting at with it.
Yeah.
Is you like that's presented to you as the norm.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? People who live like these crazy flashy lifestyles, all this shit, like they're not settling down. They're not with people. What's crazy is sometimes they are. They just never post that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's hard to step away from that because it feels so rewarding when you're in a scenario like that. And for me, I think that plays into how men approach relationships now and approach commitment now, to get back to like the original point of the conversation. Like, men might not commit because then they're going to give up these other options, which is a gross thing to say, but I think it's a realistic thing. And I feel like it probably goes both ways to some extent, but yeah. So I don't know. I think that begs the question too, like what do men look for at the end of the day? Like what would be that thing that says and answers your question from earlier?
Yes.
What would make you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know for myself what would, because I think I'm still so hung up on that I wouldn't approach it. So that's like, come back in a year, like we'll check this out again. You know what I mean? Let's see how this answer works. But to me, even just going on those apps doesn't fit in my life right now. So that's why that's not even a part of it. Right. So maybe I would have a different answer once I get to a point where I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll download that shit again.
You would go back on that?
I don't know.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
But is that more work than actually meeting someone organically?
I would rather meet someone organically the next time I do.
Tried.
What have you tried?
Oh God. Friends of friends?
Yeah. I hesitate with friends of friends because I think I've tried that like twice.
Yeah.
Disappointed both times.
Disappointed in what way?
I don't know. Like I'm also the kind of person as a guy, I get my hopes up pretty quick.
You do.
Yeah. Like I can fall quickly into the scope of like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Like I like this attention. I like this attraction.
You're just optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then when that person gets to a point of like, I don't know. I guess ghosting fits into it too, right? Like I've
that.
been ghosted. I hate being ghosted. Yeah, you're great being good at that. It's the worst fucking feeling. Nobody likes being ghosted. Let's talk about ghosting.
Okay.
Why the fuck do people do that shit?
Because you don't want to deal with that shit anymore. Are you kidding me?
Be an adult and tell the person.
I feel like roles need to definitely be reversed. I feel like guys do a lot of the ghosting, but I'm doing.
But that's what your experience. I'm telling you as a guy, I've been ghosted before. On multiple occasions. I feel like I'm painting myself to be such a bitch right now, but like I don't care. I feel like it's just like common courtesy, not common courtesy, because if it was common courtesy, people would do it. It's human decency to tell someone, look, I don't want to pursue this anymore. I got shit going on in my life. I got something else going that doesn't work. One girl that I talked to actually, like when I was still on the apps, like this is a few months ago now, but when it was like before I'd even put this out. I remember talking to them about doing this shit, like doing this podcast, and they were like really excited about it. Like they wanted to hear shit about it, and they
The
like
what girl?
we were
On
no. But anyways, we talked about stuff, and we were setting up like a first date kind of thing, and it was like coming along or getting to a point where we were like ready to like finally meet up. The other thing too is like in the pandemic, it's weird to do this shit. It's tough. But we got to a point where we were like ready to meet, but then she said to me, she's like, I have some stuff going on in my personal life right now where I like, you seem like an amazing guy and I really like talking to you, but I don't think that I can pursue this right now. That to me is way better than ghosting. Like just be straight up, like tell me like even if it's bullshit, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to tell the truth. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm just bored of you. Give me some bullshit reason, but tell me you're gonna stop talking to me.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Are you like
I just
avoiding confrontation?
No, not even confrontation. I just like. God, I'm gonna sound like a fucking bitch.
We're both sounding
I'm just over it.
Oh shit.
I don't want to like waste any more of my energy talking to your ass, and I don't think you're worth having a discussion with.
Damn.
Sorry.
That sucks, dude.
I don't know. And I mean, a lot of the time, the people that are ghosted,
Nope, I'd say it. I'm here.
No.
A lot of the time,
I mean,
the people that are ghosted,
at least the people that I've ghosted, okay, not you specifically, probably deserved it.
This is the other thing too, is I think that like sometimes like the conversation or the connection is just dry. The other thing too, you got to recognize that when you're meeting people on these apps, like you're meeting them off of appearance first. That's what it is. Like you're swiping through and you're looking at a photo.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that's the reality of how most people our age are getting connected with other people right now. Yeah. So you meet them on appearance. You're like, oh, this person's attractive. You start having a conversation with them. Like they might be dry as shit to you. I want to make a point here. Nobody's boring. Nobody is boring on their own. You know what I mean? Everybody will find someone who finds them interesting. Just because you find another person boring and you're not fucking with them.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Doesn't mean that they're not worth your time.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about it.
No, I know. And you're a very decent human being.
Maybe.
Very.
Maybe that's the other thing too. And I just feel like, and I know a lot of men are guilty of it. To go back to your point, you did say like, I feel like a lot of men ghost people, and they do. There's this whole like side of, just to go back to social media as well, like TikTok and stuff, where like guys talk about being assholes. I don't know. There were these two guys that were posting videos of like one guy was like being really nice to women, one guy was being an asshole to women.
Women are drawn to that guy.
And well,
fully drawn to that guy.
She's pointing to this hand, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was just like two sides of how to treat relationships, and it was funny, like people were saying like, oh, you're gonna choose either one of these two sides going into the summer this year, right? But the fact that there's a whole community of men that would support this dude's like outlooks on relationships and women says a lot. Men are like that. A lot of men are like that. But I think it's a decency point to just be straight up with someone. I would say do that the next time you're talking to guys. Like, don't ghost them. I don't think I've ever ghosted a person. Like, I've never left their last response without a message.
Really?
Yeah. I think I have always. I hope I have. I swear I hope I have.
Are you kidding?
It would take me a while to like go back and figure it out.
It's a little bit of a power move. You are like,
I don't want to have a power move. These people, I don't need to have power over these people. Like, they don't deserve that. But anyways, like my point of all
my
this,
God.
we've been talking about commitment for a little while
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
No, it's fine. I like this conversation. It's easy for a lot of people our age right now, our generation, to not want to commit because we got stuff going on in our lives. I think another thing that plays into it, and this would be a conversation for another time, is careers. In the past, right? Talking about that video, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby and baby carriage. Like that shit worked out because people had their jobs ready to go. Like you get into a career, you are guaranteed a certain level of like income by going to school. That's not the case anymore. You know what I mean? That's just not the reality. So I think our generation has a lot more ambiguity around what we are to do in our lives in order to be successful and support a relationship.
Yeah. I'd even argue that then, fundamentally, your job as a human being was to procreate.
Yeah.
And so people were so fixed on the idea of, you know, meeting someone, getting married, having kids, having this big old family. And now in our day and age, you know, we want to focus on ourselves, on our success, what we can do for the world, what our mark is going to be. Right. And so I think a lot, I mean, that plays into it as well.
Yeah. I like that. That's really nice. I think there's so much more, exactly like you say, like people are trying to do more for themselves on an individual level. And that there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
Right? You're trying to do more for yourself and figure out what works for you before you start bothering to commit to a relationship. But there are still things you need to discover about yourself and relationships before finding that one where you end up committing to it. You know what I mean? I think there is, and you can like call me on bullshit on this, I think there's a lot of value in having multiple partners.
At once?
No, I mean over time.
Okay,
I mean over time.
Jesus. Okay. No. Yeah.
I actually, it's recorded, but I don't know if this will be out before or not. But in my conversation with Devin, we talked about how like relationships all play a role in your outlook on relationships as a whole. You know, each relationship you learn something, right? And I know for sure you can like attest to that and understand that.
Fully, yeah.
You learn what works for you, you learn what doesn't, and what you bring into the next one. Right. And eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I know what I'm looking for in a partner, in a life partner. And then that's when you're going to be okay when that one comes around because you're going to know what fits in it, you know, and then commitment makes sense.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, here's hoping. But for now, we're all just going to be assholes and we're not going to commit. We're just going to ghost each other. We're going to fuck around. Going to be no problem. Going to be good.
Summer 21, baby. 2021, baby.
Hot girl summer, hot boy summer. Let's go.
God, I don't know.
Everybody getting vaxxed. It's going to be a good time.
Get vaxxed.
Yeah. Get vaxxed.
Please, please.
I feel like that's like an okay spot to end off too, if that's all right. Yeah, cool.
No, perfect.
Jenelle, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you taking time to be here. You are the first female guest on Your Mental. Woo! I'm gonna cut that out because that was probably too loud. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you coming on and come up with more questions, and then we'll just rattle them off.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do group episodes too.
Oh, I know.
And it's just gonna be a gong show for y'all listening and watching, but it's gonna be a lot of perspectives.
You gotta fix the audio, like.
I gotta get it all set up,
yeah.
like for sure.
We like
no talking over each other.
No.
Yeah.
What? No talking over each other?
That's what I'm saying. Like I gotta find a way to make that like work. And
yeah, it's not going to.
No.
Everyone's got a couple drinks in them. No. But
good.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And I'd be happy to have you again. I will see you all next week. Enjoy. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed, of course. If you liked this kind of content where I'm talking with not a man, I'm talking with a wonderful woman. If you like this kind of content too, like let me know what kind of conversations you would like to see between a man and a woman. Anyways, yeah, thank you. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.